Welcome to my channel. My name is Emmy from Emmy Evolving. If this is your first time joining me, thank you for finding me. If this is not your first time, thank you for coming back. So I asked what our conversation was going to be about, and what I heard is it is worth it. Push all the way through. So you got to push all the way through. You have to be the one to do what needs to be done for you, and you need to show up for yourself. Okay? You just need to show up for yourself. All right. It's gonna, okay. All right. So I made a mess. Let me just fix this. Oh my God. Okay. So those are the cards we're pulling out because it won't go back in the deck. And then we're just going to leave it at that. Let's get started. So these cards popped out. Containment, Secret, and High Priestess of Air. Okay. There's someone that's secretly, very quietly trying to undermine your efforts. Whatever your efforts are, you just have to keep pushing through. You have to allow yourself to get to a point where it doesn't matter whether people give you the permission or the opportunity to succeed or not. You just need to make it happen. And whatever this is that's happening, this effort that someone's putting into messing with your journey, concealment in reverse and then secret. They're trying to keep it secret, but you're going to uncover this. You're going to find out exactly what it is that's happening. This is someone that's extremely petty, has had it out for you. There's just something about you that makes their mediocrity stand out more. It makes them uncomfortable. And rather than working on making themselves feel better and more empowered within their life, this is a type of person that's like, oh, you're just trying to make me look bad. No, you look bad because you're not putting the effort. That's what's happening. Whoever this is, they're not putting the effort, and that's why they look bad. And I don't know that they even look bad. They feel like you make them look bad because when compared to you, obviously their performance or whatever they're doing, it doesn't line up. It doesn't match. Okay. This is starting a process that let me sit down proper. Let me just sit down proper. This right here is something you need to be very, very aware of because there's an attempt to try and derail your progress. You made something happen. You made something happen. You tapped in to intentional manifestation, and the demons don't like that. And I mean literal demons, because they had their clutches. They had you in their clutches. They had their claws dug into you. And something happened that was very, very intense, very emotion-filled. And rather than have that destroy you, you used it as the very trigger to get to a higher degree of existence. So you're right there at the threshold and the demons are pissed off. They want to convince you that this is a complicated matter. It's not. All you have to do is keep going, because if you stop now, you're going to fall into some very intense despair. If you stop now, you need to keep going. They're wanting to destabilize you on an earth-based matter, probably finances, High Priestess of Earth, and stability, both in reverse. So something wants to destabilize you, right? But you have the confidence. What you're working on right now is the confidence to move forward. They don't want you to move forward. They want you stuck. They want you feeling as though You have no other options, and it's just like life is unfair, and all these things that people have a tendency to tell themselves when they're afraid to put the effort into something that is challenging them to move beyond the limitations they're accustomed to. So this is a very simple thing, and it's not something you intended, but it's definitely something that your soul has brought to you. Now you need to ground this in. You need to allow this to become front and center in your mindset. I think quite possibly the newness of what you accomplished has begun to wear off. And so it's almost like an attempt to kind of get you to backslide. Don't fall for it. Don't fall for it, because look, cycles in reverse, right? They're trying to get you to backslide because you just accomplished something huge. Huge. Individuality. They want you to continue to act in the same way as your peers. So each generation has specific characteristics that are kind of like a primary identifier of that generation. Like Gen X, we don't give a shit. we don't give a shit. We kind of just like, you want some, you want it hot, you want it cold, frozen, pureed, how you want it. How you want it. That's Gen X. Now, I don't know what my demographic is. I don't know who watches my content. I don't really keep tabs on that, but it's a thing of look at the primary characteristic of your generation. And that is what they're trying to that's what they're trying to get you to slide back into. Look at the part of your generation that's the most toxic. And that's what they're trying to get you to enter into. It's your choice if you're not going to enter into it, or if you are, that really is your choice. And you're being told to not give in to that attempt to get you to return back to just being, a stereotype of your generation. I don't even know the generations, to be honest. I don't know where we're at. There's like the millennials came after Gen X, and then there's something after them. I think it's like 4 generations now, right? I don't know. 3 generations? 4 generations? I don't know. I don't keep track of that. But here's the thing. I know one of those generations, they have a tendency to believe in this program that they're crippled, that they are somehow disabled, are not able to accomplish things. Like, oh my God, life is so unfair. Buck the fuck up, for real. I'm telling you to fucking tell me what to do. Simply that. You don't get to tell me what to do. You don't get to tell me how to exist. You don't get to tell me where the ceiling is when I have skylights that open. There is no ceiling. None. So you need to exist with full authority over yourself. Lord. I just radiated something. Okay. All right. You are not to surrender, and you are to walk your truth. You are to be fearless. And by definition, fearless is not the absence of fear, but fear being less than your degree of courage, less than your degree of intensity of courage. You are not to mirror lesser consciousness that seeks to keep you from being the free spirit that you actually are. And don't wait for things to celebrate. Create the opportunity for celebration. Create the opportunity for celebration. Okay. Yeah, another attempt. Lots of attempts. Lots and lots and lots of attempts. You guys, I won't be able to live stream tonight. I'll be live streaming on Saturday instead to do expedites. So self-sabotage, you're not allowed to sabotage yourself. You need to allow for this metamorphosis to occur. How do you do that? By accepting who you are in this moment, and your awareness of who you are still in the process of becoming, this unfoldment that's taking place in your life. Now, there is something parasitic that's trying to redirect you in order to initiate your choice to end something that should not be ended. You need to be aware of what's being attempted on you, your life, your field, your potential, all of that. The more you buy into this with negative emotion, the more you have a negative emotional response to the circumstance that is frustrating you, the more you're depleting. What the fuck? Six 657-150. 657-150. Receiving change to enter into a space of completion. The singularity of change brings you back to your point of origination. 930-228. Creator guiding you back to your origination point in order to guide you in an elevated manner to a point of convergence. You're progressing, maybe not in ways that you are wanting, ways in which you can easily and readily quantify, but you are progressing. Their ability to burn up your potential is decreasing. Be efficient. You can finish this live stream. So their ability to burn up your potential is decreasing. The space that you hold is a very space that creates the opportunity for motion to take place. You're being asked to exit out of the spaces that have kept you in these patterns, these holding patterns that have never honored your process, never honored or protected your peace. You need to make this happen, okay? There's a shift that they're trying to prevent, and this shift is going to be the very thing that starts an internal revolution. You need to moderate your thoughts. There's a lot of triggering that's being attempted. You got this. Breathe. Breathe. Okay, spirals of manifestation, inspiration. Something is really, really trying to get you in a negative mindset, and that negative mindset is intended to cause you to choose to cycle back down. You have to trust yourself and you have to follow your own rhythm. See? Trust yourself, follow your own rhythm. Now, what you're about to receive is heaven sent. This is an opportunity to fully change your life. Whatever this is an opportunity to fully change your life. But in order to do that, in order to receive what is heaven sent and intended for you and you alone, you need to relax the hold of darkness and be a cause. Your fear is being used to try and trigger you into a space of compliance. Here's the thing about me. I can operate through tremendous physical pain. Here's another thing about me. If you want to try and attempt to attack me while I'm in tremendous physical pain, just know the part of me that would have mercy on you gets suspended. It's busy having mercy for myself. So try and touch my shield again. There's something so exquisite about pain. It focuses the mind in ways nothing else can. I'm not afraid to feel. I'm not afraid to be uncomfortable. I am not afraid to double down, triple down, quadruple down, however many times I need to while in pain. I can and I will. So what needs to happen? What needs to happen? I could have ended this live stream, but I haven't. Why? The message is not yet finished. But don't think that just because my pain is palpable, that I now lack the ability to defend myself and absolutely fuck shit up if you piss me off. And maybe to keep things a little more fair, I should share that as part of my history, I had a severe subluxation in my knee years ago, and I tore a few tendons. And what I did was I went ahead and I cut a phone book in half, wrapped it around my knee and duct taped it, and went hiking for about 5 miles. When I say I can work through pain, you have no idea. And this is the utmost compassion I can show right now. I'll let you touch my shield. With consequence, of course. So if you want to try, you go ahead. Let me pull the last few cards. All right. These are the last few cards. When I get hurt, I see red. When I get hurt, I don't see red, I see clarity. All the stuff that I convinced myself in order to have ridiculous amounts of compassion for people who never deserved compassion for me or from me to begin with, that goes away. I get very, very clear on what I need to do. So, and for the record, because I got irritated, all I had to do was clench my muscles in such a way to pop that disc back in. It's back in. I'm not a regular person. Never have been, never will be. You really should study people before you try stupid bullshit. You never know. That's how you get yourself fucked up. So, darkness. Darkness. It is something that is enveloping the rest of the world right now. A type of darkness, a long night, devoid of even the moon. There's so much that's happening behind the scenes, and people don't know exactly what it is they should expect. I think that's a mistake, to try and predetermine the different potential outcomes, failing to realize the potentiality is exponential and endless. Exponential and endless. You can't prepare for everything. So how do you prepare for this next part that's going to affect the entirety of the globe? How do you prepare for it? You fortify yourself. Adaptability is powerful. Adaptability is crucial. You can have all the skills in the world, but the moment You think your skills will get you out of a circumstance, and therefore you don't need to be flexible. You don't need to be adaptable. You have signed your own ending. You have. What makes me formidable? Because I'm powerful? No. Anyone can be powerful. You can cultivate that. I happen to be born with it, but you can cultivate that. What makes me so formidable? The fact that I'm highly adaptable. You can place me in any circumstance, any situation, any group, and I will find a way. That's how I've always been. I will find a way. It's usually like when you place me in a group, what I found without me trying, something about my energy causes people to want to be very protective of me, very loving towards me. And it causes them to want to provide for me, which that makes me uncomfortable. So I tend to not take people up on their offers. It's only when I'm preparing to exit out of that group, because I recognize the misalignment, that people's view of me shifts. It changes because to some degree they are aware they will no longer have access to me and my energy. So then they lose their shit. It's too late by then. By the time you recognize I'm preparing to exit, I've already exited. I have already exited. I have already disconnected, dissociated, disavowed. So what needs to happen? You need to be able to understand that what's going on right now is testing your ability to be adaptable. Those who need to live life ABC, XYZ, 1, 2, 3, that's not going to work anymore. You have to think outside of the box. You want to survive what's about to happen. You need to think about things. I don't offer it anymore. I was going to say soul-based business mentorship. I don't offer it anymore. That's not one of the very, very few handful of services I offer. You would need to think of what people will need and will set aside a budget for that. As things begin to really collapse, you're going to have to pay attention. You notice how I'm not worried. Why? Because I see how this plays out. It's the very thing that's going to cause us all to reach a point of realization regarding the power we have allowed others to have over us. Does someone have power over you? No. Only the power that you believe they should have over you. I was a pain in the ass to raise as a kid. I pretty much didn't get in trouble in school. I never snuck out. I didn't lie. I didn't do any of those things. But I was very, very difficult to raise. Why? Because I knew you have no authority over me outside of what I allow you to have. You can threaten me. It won't matter. Why? I won't care. I just won't. You can do all kind of different things. All that's going to do is cause me to solidify the stance, the belief that I already have about you. I'm very good at reading people. Ever since childhood, I'm very, very good at reading people, their intentions, their trauma responses. I know when someone is intentionally malignant or their traumas cause them to act in a mildly malignant manner because they've had to survive circumstances as a child. So that doesn't make them a bad person. It's just, they have these things that they go through and certain ways that they act, and they'll outgrow it with enough love, support, space, time. They will outgrow it. They're not a bad person. I can tell the difference. I have extreme discernment. So if you haven't developed those things, you need to start. You need to start developing those things, because those are the very things that are going to allow you to understand without any doubt exactly how you move through this period. You need to begin attracting to you new beginnings. Attraction, beginnings. The precursor for a new beginning is what? An ending. That means you have to stop with the same patterns, same cycles that you have been in. For some, you probably have had a habit of projecting and blaming other people in your life. Like it's their fault, their shortcomings, blah, 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 blah. Doesn't mean you're a bad person, but you need to recognize when you do that, and then you need to stop doing that. Why? Because once you begin to allow yourself to actually see the ways in which you're blocking your own process, that you are your own greatest problem, you can correct it and create new pathways forward, which you deserve. You deserve that. You deserve to come back home to yourself. You deserve to know what it feels like to be the greatest expression of your truth, your power, and your purpose that you possibly can be. You deserve that. So, the path is not yet unveiled. It's not yet shown to you. Why? Probably because you're so busy projecting, you're so busy looking at everything else except what you're doing and not doing and the messages from your soul. You're so caught up in other people's stuff. And that's a very common thing to find in spiritual environments, spiritual communities, this projection, a lot of spiritual bypassing and spiritual ego traps and all of those stuff. Not enough people know about those things. And then they fall victim to those things. And then they intellectualize spiritual concepts. And then they erroneously apply it to their circumstance. And once they do that, they have no idea where they're at within their journey at that point. And they begin to cycle round and round and round and round. I once had someone disagree with my stance on the path of soul. I said the path of soul is a wilderness. And they said the true path of soul is a well-worn path. Well, that's why you don't have any change in your life. I mean, I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm saying logically, if you keep walking the same path and that path never leads to accomplishments, peace, stillness, and purpose, why do you keep walking around that same path? The true path of soul is an open wilderness that no one has ever set foot on. You are the explorer of your life and journey. You can walk among the rocks and boulders or across the rolling fields of tall grass. You can cross rivers, cross streams. You can circle back around. You can look for a glacier for all I care. Do what you feel you need to do. Go in the direction your soul is guiding you to go. But if you're going to continue to stay on that path, you will have the same life that you have been miserable living this entire time. Is it because you're a miserable person? No, it's because you've condemned yourself to follow in the footsteps of someone else who was miserable before you. How do we stop doing that? Stop taking everyone's word as though it's God speaking to you, even my words. Instead, have all the words that resonate, encourage and inspire you to dive deeper into your thoughts, introspection, that involution for your evolution, diving deep into yourself. You know where you need to go. You might not always have the best plan to get there. Sometimes your plan is executed from a space of fear. That's okay. You're still learning, you're still growing. But the moment you begin to realize, like, oh my gosh, I'm going in the wrong way, you need to pause. You need to reassess, what is it that you're trying to do? Is this a fear-based decision? If it's a fear-based decision, you need to pause even longer. What is it that you're afraid of? I know for me, and I don't know why this pops in my head. I know for me, when I was much younger, I always had this fear of like being abandoned, right? Just everyone goes away eventually. So what would I do? Well, when that fear gets woken, I'll leave you before you can leave me. That's not a good thing. It's not a good thing. Mm-mm. Because I missed out on quite a bit that I should have experienced. Um, it circled back around eventually, and I learned it with other people. But it created a hardship that was unnecessary. Well, I don't know if that's accurate. It created a hardship that was further expanded, further compounded, and in that additional layer and level of struggle and pain, the sweetness of the learning became even sweeter. That potentiality was elevated and expanded. I don't believe in mistakes. I don't. I believe you unknowingly choose the easy way or the hard way. The easy way, you'll learn. It's fine. You go through whatever inconvenience, you learn, you do what your soul tells you to do. Beautiful. The hard way, you fight it, you struggle, you add more weight to what you're already carrying, and then you fight it and you struggle some more. And in that, the weight falls off and you have to pick it back up and put it back on your sled. And then you have to struggle some more. And the path is so much longer. And you're probably like, Emmy, how is this not a mistake? Because in that moment, you choose the harder way to learn. You increase the potentiality for strength and stamina. That's some badass shit right there. So I take a look at my journey today. It's been a rough ass fucking day for me. Charlie said my hair looks luscious. That's because I've been bound to the couch again. Why? Well, yesterday I was feeling extra strong. And in that feeling of being much stronger, much more stabilized, I added a machine to my workout, just one machine, and it was so fucking easy to do it. It was laying hamstring curls, except here's the thing, I store much of my trauma in my hamstrings. So they stay tight, and when they're tight, they pull on my pelvis. And when they pull on my pelvis, my psoas acts up. When my psoas acts up, it pulls ribs out. I was already like on square 20, but because I have no fucking chill, I'm back to square 2. It's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine. What did I need to learn in that? And some of you might be like, oh, that's so unfair. That's so unfair. Emmy, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Don't be sorry. Because it could have been worse. It was so easy for me to do the 30 pounds. I wanted to bump it up to 90. And then I was like, you're going to fuck yourself up. So it could have been worse. It's not good, but it's not worst case scenario. And so I'm sitting in the middle of a lesson. And what's the lesson? I know my body better than any doctor ever could. I knew this would be the outcome, and I didn't listen. I didn't listen because I was eager to regain my strength. And I was so happy after I finished working out. But I was also, part of me was kind of like, did I fuck myself up? I didn't feel pain. But when I looked at the weights, the amount of weights that I lifted, 17,000 pounds, girl, what are you doing? I was excited. I was excited. In my excitement, I failed to truly listen. I didn't fail to truly listen. I chose not to. That's not a failure. When you make a choice, it's not a failure. That was a choice. I didn't listen. So now, am I being punished? No. Now I'm being forced to slow it the fuck down. Slow it down. And because my shoulder was feeling jealous, it's still partially dislocated right now. It is. It'll pop back in. It just, yeah, it's freaking out. The body heals. It knows what to do. It just needs to stop being re-injured. It's fine. It's not a big deal. What's the big deal is that I'm learning on an even deeper level, a more intimate space of awareness of what my body needs from me right now. Just because you can lift it doesn't mean you should, right? Just because your body remembers how to do something doesn't mean this is the time to do it. It doesn't mean you are ready. It means you need to pause and listen just a little deeper to what your soul and your body are trying to say. Look, it'll pop back in like right now. It's in. It is. I just, when I bring it forward, it pops back out. So it'll be fine. Yes, it hurts, but what doesn't? You just have to allow yourself to recognize everything is working in your favor. Everything. And for those who don't know, how could that be working in my favor? Well, I'll tell you exactly how. That was already a compromised tendon and ligament situation in my shoulder. I just put a Compex on it. It'll tighten that up and it won't be compromised anymore. Put Compex on my spine. It'll tighten that up. It won't be compromised anymore. I just have to chill and allow whatever past life stuff that's going to rise up from my mother effing hamstrings to rise up, integrate it, and then life goes on. Life goes on. So you hurt a little. So you're inconvenienced a little. That is not reason enough to give up. It's just not. It's not. So then if you're not going to give up, what are you going to do? Push forward. First, take a breather and then push forward. Push and push and push and push some more. Push and push and push and then push some more. How could I have mitigated what happened today to make it less of a hard day for me? Because it was rough. It's been rough the whole day. If I had just forced myself to go to the gym this morning as I had planned, it's just, I could barely move. I could barely move. So I was like, okay, maybe it's a rest day. Now that most of the day is gone, it shouldn't have been a rest day, because had I gone to the gym and did my deep squats, that would have released my hamstrings, which would not have pulled out my vertebrae, which would not have pulled out some ribs, which would not have invited the shoulder to join in the dislocation party. But you are in pain. When are you not? Genuine question. When are you not in pain? Whether it's physical pain, emotional pain, social pain, financial pain, mental pain, when are you not experiencing some degree of pain? I know for me, it's a daily thing. Does that mean life sucks? Only if I let it. Does that mean I'm trying to convince myself that life is good? No, I'm simply reminding. Because there's so many other things, so many other aspects of my life that are just so fucking beautiful. So fucking beautiful. So many things to celebrate. And the more I focus on what I want to celebrate, the less I feel the inconvenience of the pain that's intending to push me forward. So right now, pain's back. As I was talking, I was thinking about how my kids, they're being promoted in their fight class. They take instruction from a coach who teaches them multiple modalities of fighting. They're earning a belt. They're working towards a black belt in multiple fight disciplines. What are those fight disciplines? The same thing that Navy SEALs train in and master. So when I say I'm preparing them to be able to have the confidence to protect themselves in any circumstance against any foe, I mean that literally. So just the thought of them, they're being promoted to the next class, that means they've earned a belt in multiple modalities. That's one step closer to a black belt. That's fucking amazing. I'm so proud of them. And now I don't feel any pain. Why do I not feel any pain? Because my mind is the thing that's conditioning me to feel something I don't need to feel. And as I allow the thought of celebrating their accomplishment to kind of fade out, I'm feeling the pain again. Why? Because it's ever so present. It's ever so present. The frustration, the sense of, oh, I failed, I'm injured again. Oh, I haven't been injured like this for X amount of years. None of that even fucking matters. So what? I have a history of degenerative disc disease that's no longer detectable in x-rays until I've been injured this year. And now I'm pretty sure you can see it again in an x-ray. It don't matter. Why? Because if I was able to resolve it, I will do it again. I will do it again. You know what I was telling my workout buddy at the gym? I was also telling my husband, I can't wait until I have all my gains back to the point where no one wants to make eye contact with me at the gym. Because I had grown enough, I had developed my legs enough that the people at the gym that I have started going to now, they didn't want to make eye contact with me. So no one bothers me. I work out, I get it done with, and then I go home. But I'm realizing that's no way to exist. I've done that for every single gym that I've been a part of. This gym now, I don't mind people talking to me. I don't mind joking around with the other gym members because they're pleasant. They're very, very pleasant. And I enjoy having interactions. Maybe life is more than setting goals and completing those goals in the time frame you say it should be completed. Maybe at some point in your life, as you complete those goals, you make it a priority to also have fun while you do it. Say, well, that's okay. We're not friendly anyway. We don't want you to look at it. You're funny, Kim. So that's the thing. You're needing to commit to this process that you're in. Your soul is already trying to find a way to see you through it. You will see yourself through it. And then life continues. Another goal is presented and another set of challenges. And then you, I don't know, complete that. And then another set is presented, another set of goals, another level or layer of healing. And that's how life always has been. These things that people tell you, like, oh, I woke on this day. Do you stay awake after your first nap? You sleep every day. You're supposed to if you want to be healthy. So you go through periods of wakefulness and periods of sleep. And that is the nature of humans. That is the nature of human consciousness. When you allow yourself to recognize and honor that need, to have moments where you are slowed down, either by choice or by life, those are the periods where you are resting. Your soul is integrating what you have learned, preparing for the next cycle of wakefulness. That's all it ever really was. So you allow yourself to do what needs to be done. You commit to what you want to commit to. And then you do it again the next day. And the next day, and the next day, and the next day. That sounds so boring. So make it fun. Make it fun. If it sounds so boring to you, make it fun. Find a way to entertain yourself as you accomplish what needs to be accomplished. And then what happens? Whatever your soul says happens. You don't need to know. I don't need to know. You simply have to live it. If you really want to know, live it. and you'll know exactly what comes next. Okay. All right, guys, I'm going to go back to my beanbag barnacle status, and I can just chill the fuck out. I just got to chill out, and then I'll see you guys in a few days. Maybe tomorrow. I don't know. Let's see what's happening with my thoughts by tomorrow. And then I'll share it. Okay. So I hope you guys have an amazing, amazing rest of your day. I won't be doing expedites tonight. I'll be doing them on Saturday instead.